Well, good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Abby Hannon. Tim will join us in just a few minutes. In an effort to cut America's debt, the Trump administration froze spending for dozens of federal departments and programs. Farmers in Iowa were put in a precarious position. KCAU News reporter Chase Foy is live in the studio and has more, as it's our top story at 6.
Thanks, Avia. While a judge offered a pause on the federal spending freeze, many individuals and organizations are still waiting on the grants and contracts to be paid out.
What we've been hearing is people having funding frozen for things like the Conservation Stewardship Program, Environmental Quality Incentives Program, things like the Resilient Food System Infrastructure, the Sustainable Ag Research and Education Farmer and Ranger Grants. So quite a broad swath of things have been frozen.
Sally Worley is the executive director of Practical Farmers of Iowa, which helps farmers build resilient farms and communities. The organization has been stuck in limbo along with farmers due to the funding freeze announced nearly a month ago.
What we've been doing is internal because a lot of our budget is affected by federal funding. So we're kind of game planning for if programs are cut, how we'll be able to continue to offer our services to farmers that help them be more successful with farming and staying in business.
However, Thursday, Agricultural Secretary Brooke Rollins announced $20 million will be released to honor contracts for conservation and other programs. Worley says that's good news, but there's still a lot of uncertainty.
That provides some assurance that things are starting to move and we're starting to get answers. And it is good news. However, that's a fraction of what we're waiting to see. And it's also not clear. Things like CSP and EQIP come out of different buckets of funding. Some are from the Farm Bill and some are from the IRA. And it's not clear from that announcement if it's across all of those or just the Farm Bill funding. So it's good news.
Iowa Representative Randy Feenstra was asked about the funding freeze along with more recent cuts to the USDA.
We had a lot of discussions with the administration, and this is what happens. We have a new administration, and some things get hooked up.
But farmers aren't reassured.
A lot of the anxiety is in the unknown and the lack of knowing when we will know these answers. And then we are also holding a listening session next week to help farmers figure out what their options are and what their status is at that time.
Worley says Practical Farmers is providing local farmers with financial assistance, technical assistance, and business development for the time being. Chase Foy, KCAU 9 News.
Well, thank you, Chase. And tonight we're learning more information about a shooting that took place here in Sioux City last night. One person was injured and another individual is in police custody. Court documents indicate on Thursday evening, 27-year-old Jonas Maldonado drove a car in the 600 block of 16th Street. When he passed an individual, he allegedly stopped the vehicle in the road, got out, yelled a racial slur at the individual. And officials say Maldonado fired 5 shots at the person, hitting the victim in the neck and shoulder. The victim collapsed near 15th and Jackson Street. About a half an hour later, North Sioux City Police tried to pull Maldonado over, but a pursuit ensued from South Dakota to Iowa, which led him to crashing in the 1400 block of West 21st Street. Maldonado is booked into the Woodbury County Jail and facing multiple charges, including attempted murder. And a bill to help fund the new South Dakota State's Men Prison project failed in the State House. An amended version of the House Bill 1025 failed on a 34-35 vote, with one lawmaker excused. The bill would authorize the Department of Corrections to construct a prison facility for offenders committed to the Department of Corrections in Lincoln County, which would have 1,500 beds. The amendment added to the measure changed the legislation to just transfer $148 million from the general fund to the state incarceration fund, Lawmakers on both sides of the aisle discussed this bill for almost an hour before voting.
This is a fiscally responsible decision that we can make to move money and ensure that it's used for our future legislatures and future taxpayers for this purpose.
Yes, we need a new prison, but do we need that big of a prison? Do we need all those rooms? And if we do, we need to start asking ourselves, why do we need all those rooms?
A motion to reconsider the bill was noted, but that will remain dead until possible the next legislative day, which is set for Monday. Let's check back in with Chief Meteorologist Victor Perez for a look at the forecast. Victor?
Well, after starting off the day cold, Avia, we saw that temperatures did rise. We actually tied our record low temperatures set back in 1918, so over 100 years ago, at a 15 below zero. Of course, wind chills made it feel colder, as we'll see that daytime highs, though, are trending upwards. Low 20s for highs, and we'll see that most of Siouxland gained about 10 degrees, unless you're out in the western portions of Nebraska and South Dakota, where they gained almost 20 degrees compared to yesterday. Now, there is good news. We'll continue to see rising temperatures all across the region through the weekend, so it's going to be looking much warmer and sunnier for the next coming days. Avia?
Thank you, Victor. And a long-running charity event helping kids and families in Siouxland continues tonight at Country Celebrations. KCAU anchor Tim Seaman is on hand for the event and has an update on what is bringing people together. Tim?
Hey there, Avia. I tell you what, we've caught a break. The weather has started to warm, making for a nice night. Folks able to get outside and enjoy a trip to Country Celebrations for this year's Face Off for Charity, the 27th annual Face Off for Charity, if you can believe that. It started so many years ago as just kind of a thought and hoping that it could turn into something big, and boy, it has, because 2 years ago, this event topped the $1 million mark in donations to help the kids and families that are helped at Boys and Girls Home and Family Services, and the totals continue to grow as the community continues to back this event. We'll have 300 folks, if not more, here in the building tonight for dinner served by the Sioux City Musketeer players. Also, our live and silent auction items, and there's always some great ones. There's autographed jerseys, hockey players from the NHL, former Musketeer players that have returned jerseys that are autographed. We've got steaks. We've got some different destinations. A new event this year, Missouri River Outdoors, and it's a hunting excursion for 4, all to a good cause to help the families and the kids at Boys and Girls Home and Family Services. We have so many players who had their parents actually come back for this event from all over the country to be here this night to help raise funds for this local organization. It's a great night. We look forward to it, and again, KCAU 9, a proud sponsor, and so fortunate to be able to participate in this event from day one, 27 years ago. We'll have the totals for you coming up later. Just how much money we end up raising tonight, we'll pass it along. But in the meantime, Tim Seaman, KCAU 9 News.
Thank you, Tim. And Siouxland students have a brand new career path to explore at the Career Academy. The district celebrated the opening of the Hospitality Pathway Suite, which combines aspects of culinary skills, planning, and more. The students who have been taking classes in the pathway since August got to show off what they've been learning for the guests.
We kind of came up with the menu for today and the action stations and stuff. Most of them are very passionate about the culinary or hospitality area and want to pursue that as a career. And so this is really cool to kind of get hands-on experience with that.
Students will also get college credit through Western Iowa Tech for the classes they take at the Career Academy, making pursuing the career a little easier. And a 100-year-old piece of art in Sioux City history will no longer be at the Sioux City Art Center. The Corn mural is being taken to be restored professionally. Painted in 1926 by Grant Wood, the murals hung in the Martin Hotel on 4th Street. They would rediscover in the 70s and became a part of the Art Center's permanent collection in 2007. The center says it's been about 40 years since the Corn murals have been through the conservation process, which is key to keeping the artwork in good condition.
We're excited for this process. We hope that when it comes back, it's looking even better than it looks right now, of course. And part of this process is also to ensure that it's looking its greatest for future generations of people to enjoy.
The conservation process for all 7 panels is expected to take a year. 4 panels will be taken first, then the final 3 will be processed later.